Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and the sense of doership constitute the 8 principles of my lower nature. That lower nature means what? Objects. All of these principles, these dharmas, these tattvas, we call them tattvas, these principles or truths that are operating in the objective world. We call this the objective world, from Maya on down. This is called the lower nature, or the lower self. It's not 2 selves, it's 1 self, but we're dividing it into 2 parts. Subject, me, that's he, me. When he says my lower nature, he means we're speaking as awareness. So this is true for you. When you say my, it means me, it means you. Don't think he's talking about somebody else. So there are 8 principles operating in the objective world, in the lower part of you. Now it's not really lower, don't get frightened. Don't think, oh, lower and higher. We just need to use these terms to discriminate. Remember we said moksha, or liberation, is discrimination of the subject from the object. So we're going to talk about the objects now and how they relate to the subject. And so you need to be able to identify the objects. And it obviously is putting it very, very simply in impersonal language. That means what? There's nothing personal about existence. It's totally impersonal. That's real hard for us. Our whole notion of reality is very, very personal. And actually, reality is just very impersonal. It's just, and we need to understand it that way. It's a fact that we're taking everything personally and looking at everything personally that's causing us the problems. When you take something personal that's not personal, then you have a problem. There's a conflict. What are these 8 principles? Earth. The material world is made out of these 5 elements. Space, air, fire, water, and earth. That supplies the earth, these 5 elements. They're called Mahabhutani. It means the great elements. These are ideas, pure ideas or pure knowledge that are inherent in the nature of the Creator, or Ishvara. Ishvara is Maya. If you see on the chart here, we'll refine this a little bit, but just those of you who understand, have been in the Vedanta for a while, don't get excited if I'm just a little general with my terms right now, because there are new people here who need to, who are not quite sophisticated enough on the subtleties of these different concepts. And so I'm just saying in general, Ishvara or Maya or God or the Creator, right, has in it these 5, first of all, these 5 basic ideas. Creation is nothing but knowledge. This is a strange statement. It's very, everything here is nothing but knowledge. It's a conscious creation made purely out of ideas. Space is an idea. Fire is an idea. A pure form. Before it becomes material, it exists in a subtle form as an idea. You'll see here that when you analyze it, everything here you see is conscious, is intelligently designed. I like that word. The Christians use that. They're arguing, they're always fighting with the scientists. And they said, well, no, God has intelligently designed this creation. And you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. When you analyze everything, you can see that everything is very intelligently designed. And that everything, there's a harmony between all the forms and names, all the creatures, all the beings, all the material objects. It's all very, very, very carefully thought out. And so now here in awareness, in you, there's no creation. You're free of objects. Awareness from this side of the line on up, that's all free of objects. But when Maya is operating, when the Creator is operating on you, on awareness, then it's creating what? This whole mandala of existence. And this mandala of existence starts in the mind, right, with an idea. And so there's 5 basic, here comes the guy. Probably won't last long. They'll probably pass right by.
Children's God.
Huh?
The children's God.
So, now why does God create elements first? The material world first. Why is that? What do you think the reason for that is? Because the jivas, the individuals, the people who are driven by their karma, they need a field in which to act, don't they? If you come here with all your karma and there's no here, what are you going to do? You'll just be frustrated. There's no way for you to work out your stuff. You're just working out your karma. All the stuff that what is done in the past is working out through you now. And you need a field of activity to work in.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because during the break, we were just discussing this karma. Is it something personal or is it something universal? So if you say you have to work out your karma, is this my individual past life karma? Or is it just universal karma that has
Yes, it's both. It's both impersonal and it's personal.
Okay.
Until you understand. When you understand, then you'll see there's no personal karma. But at this stage, if you take yourself to be a person, then whatever thoughts you're thinking and whatever actions you're doing, that's your karma. Okay? Karma is out picturing through you. It's functioning through you. So whatever. Now, if you analyze it carefully, if you look at your karma, how does it get to be your karma?
Through the body.
Where did,
Through the body.
Well, it functions through the body, but we're talking about who owns the karma. Okay, Jiva owns the karma, you own it, you say it's mine, but did you create it?
No.
Did you create the material objects? Did you create your feelings and your thoughts? No, you didn't create it, did you? So, every thought that you have, did you create the thought yourself? You didn't create the thoughts, did you? The thoughts are coming, they're appearing in you. Well, who's creating the thoughts? Ishvara. Do you have any unique thoughts that nobody else has? Do you ever have a thought that nobody else has ever had? No, just observe, look around. You have all the same stupid thoughts that everybody has. You have desires. Is your desires any different from any other desires? No. It's just desires. You want stuff. So does desire belong to you? You have fear. Everybody's got fear. Did you invent fear? No. Does it belong to you? No. It's just part of the creation that's functioning through you. So you can't really say it's your karma. As long as you own it, then you have to do it in a certain way. But when you gain knowledge, you see it isn't my karma at all, and you relax. You just take it as Ishvara. And you don't identify with it. But when you're ignorant of where it's coming from and who it belongs to, then you say, it's my karma. And when you own that karma, then what? Then you're tied to that karma. You only own it because you're ignorant. You only say this is my karma because you're ignorant. If you really understood where karma is coming from, you'll leave it up to Ishvara. You'll say, oh, that's Ishvara's problem. What does that have to do with me? I didn't create this. I'm not responsible for this. Why should I own this karma? But the jiva, the ego, the doer, you see here, he says, and the sense of, and what is this? And the sense of doership, right? He said, a sense of doership. He said, in this lower nature, there's this sense of doership and ownership and authorship. Right? You think you're doing. You think you own it. You think you created it. These are the doership, ownership, and authorship. That's a feeling that you have. Did you create that? No. Everybody's got it. It doesn't belong to you. Everybody thinks they're doing. Everybody thinks they're owning. Everybody thinks they're creating. And therefore, everybody's what? Playing like little gods here. Aren't you? You're co-opting for you what actually belongs to Ishvara. This is why you're suffering. Ishvara is creating it. Ishvara owns it. Ishvara what? Authored it. Ishvara is doing it. Any doing is done by Ishvara actually. It's all just happening. You're not actually doing it. It's just happening. But you say, oh, I'm doing it. I created it. It's mine. I own it. You've taken away what? The Ishvara, and you've what? Owned it for yourself. And then that's where the karma comes in. That's where it becomes your karma. It's not your karma. It becomes your karma. And then you start suffering and enjoying. Because why? Because you're not in control of it. Sorry, it's not funny, I know.
Could you say that Ishvara does a different thing here than he does there?
Sure. Ishvara does a different thing here as there according to what? The actions that the doer has. That's why I don't get the results of your actions.
Yeah.
When I own karma, then I get the results of my actions, you get the results of your actions, and Ishvara never mixes up the karma.
And
When
that
you-
goes beyond several lives.
Well, yeah, sure. There's no lives. There's only one life. If reality is non-dual,
Yeah, but-
there's not a lot of different lives.
But as long as you think you are the doer, you
Well,
take
yeah,
your
but-
karma with you.
But the doer is reborn, but not the person.
Yeah.
The doer is reborn, but is anybody actually worried about their next life? No, you're not worried about your next life. Why not? Because the you that's here to worry about the next life is not going to be there in the next life. The karma will be there, the doer will be there, but it will have a different name, and it'll be in a different place and different circumstances, and there'll be no connection between that you and this you. Because Ishvara wipes the memory out. There's a new you that comes up every single time that thinks you're special and unique, and this is mine, and it belongs to me, and all that sort of thing. And what?
So why do you talk about a new you? There's actually no connection.
Well, there isn't actually a connection, it's just a matter of understanding how this thing works here.
But in the Gita, Krishna mentioned several times that once you are free, you don't have to be reborn again. And
Well,
that's
there's-
the part that I have really difficulty with.
That's very difficult because that's an exoteric, an external, it has two functions. One is, it can be interpreted in two ways. It can be interpreted exoterically or externally, or it can be interpreted internally. Now, what does that mean? In other words, symbolically. Understand? Now, I don't know if we want to go into this reincarnation. Everybody wants to know. This is a big topic in incarnation because they wonder, do I exist in the next birth? Well, no, the next birth exists in you because you're actually awareness.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's why I don't understand these verses in the Gita.
Well, because, why? Because he's talking to Arjuna who thinks he's a person and he's trying to motivate this. The Buddhists do this. They're trying to scare you. Reincarnation is used as a fear tactic by spiritual teachers, what? To make you buckle down and solve your problem now. Look at the Buddhism. That's the greatest one. You better do your practice or you'll be reborn as a cockroach. Huh? Right? Oh, I don't want to be a cockroach. I better pray and meditate and do my little thing and chant om nom yum yum blah 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 blah. Because I don't want to be reborn as a cockroach. The you that they're talking to is not going to be reborn as a cockroach. Unless or a pig. Now, if you're a glutton in this life, then Ishvara may give you a pig's body because it's easier for you to enjoy your karma in a pig's body than it is in what? In this body. Or if you're a little sex fiend, Ishvara may turn you into a rabbit. So you can work out your karma as a rabbit, doing your little. But the rabbit's not going to remember that it was this horny little person in this life. So what's the connection? The only connection between this life and the next life is what? An idea in your mind that there's some continuity to this apparent person. The continuity is just in the karma. Because when the body dies, it doesn't affect this causal body, and it doesn't affect the subtle body. The subtle body remains. It's just that the instrument wears out, just like a car. The automobile wears out, and what do? Get a new car. And you can't drive it anymore. So when it wears out, the driver stays the same. And the motor stays the same. You know, the power of motion stays the same. But I just have a new vehicle, and then the same stream of karma works out. It's not really personal at all. This is what we're trying to do, is dissolve our notion of personhood, of our uniqueness, our specialness. That's what's causing all. I know it's really a shame, because when you look at yourself in the mirror, you think you're the most special, wonderful thing there ever was. Right? You think, oh my God, did God create? How could God have created anything as wonderful as me? You don't even think God created, you just think you're wonderful. And you're not. The light that you worship when you look in the mirror in the morning, that shining light that you see there, that's the same light in everybody. There's nothing special. That's Ishvara, that's God, shining through you. And it reflects back when you look in the mirror, and you appreciate it. So there's nothing personal here going on. It just looks like it. And when you start analyzing, and investigating, it's Vedanta's inquiry, it's an analysis and investigation. When you start analyzing and inquiring into it, then you discover what? That it's just an impersonal field of awareness. The objects are behaving according to their natures, and I'm the one that's watching. And that's fun. Yeah, then life is fun, because the way Ishwara programs this and choreographs this whole dance of life, it becomes very entertaining, very, very humorous, and very, very pleasant and fun, if you're looking at it from here. But if you're caught in the dream, and you're taking responsibility for all of this stuff here, it's not always that fun.